Hey guys, and so today I'm gonna be, I guess, not continuing a series, but continuing the kind of vibe of my channel and talking about one of my favourite current artists. Uh, I think, other than maybe Frank Turner, they are probably my favourite group or musician that are still making music. Uh, a second only maybe to the Beatles, who you guys know I love more than anything else. And that would be the Arctic Monkeys, which I acted like it was a build up. You guys know, you clicked the video. But anyway, today I'm gonna be kind of breaking down their 6 albums in a ranking system. But what I would like you guys to know is that even the one that I put at number 6 is still an A tier album. I don't believe that the Arctic Monkeys have ever done anything wrong. I think every album they've done is magic. They always hit the mark, which even that may upset some people, to be honest. It could be controversial, but I think everything they've done is incredible. This video is sponsored by no one, but if you want to, hit me up. You know where my email is. Only messing, but anyway. In number 6 is... It'd have to be Humbug Boys. I think it is a brilliant album. I can't take that away. Cornerstone is just a sensational ballad. Cornerstone really showed them stepping in a good direction. Pretty Visitors was also brilliant on that album, a proper anthem for them to go from when they did their studio stadium stuff. But there was just something about Humbug where I think those middle 2 albums, which we'll come back in a second, just didn't hit for me. They It started so well, and then they were trying to break America, which they ended up having one of the guys from Queens of the Stone Age help them out, and they had broken America, so it makes sense. And their success afterwards would say it worked, but personally for me, I just think they miss the mark on the middle bit. And whilst Humbug is still an A tier album, it's probably my least favourite Arctic Monkeys album. Followed next by Suck It and See. And while Don't Sit Down Because You've Moved Your Chair, because I've moved your chair, is one of my favourite Arctic Monkeys songs. Like, it's got to be right up there at the top. But other than Crying Lightning, there just isn't that much to follow it on the album, I don't think. I love them. And it pains me to do it, but there was just something about those middle 2 that didn't sit right with me, and there was just something about them. It was like they were trying to do something, but they weren't trying to do enough, I guess. And limping in next into what I guess is number 4 is what might be in the bottom of everyone else's. Otherwise, I'll expect it to be here in my list. Is Tranquility Base's Hotel and Casino. What was I going to say? So I've been a fan of Arctic Monkeys since Favourite Worst Nightmare, which will come back later. I really jumped back into them after Bloody AM, which again will come back later. But so that would mean that Tranquility Base was the first album I was excited about. I remember following it on Twitter and seeing everything like, oh, this new Arctic Monkeys album is coming out, they're working on it. And at first I didn't get it. I think like most people don't. I wasn't too sure. But I think as a Beatles fan, and I could see it more than most people could. And when I view Tranquility, I see it like I see the White Album. Like, imagine their first few albums are Please Please Me, and you've got the singles like Can't Buy Me Love, A Hard Day's Night, and all that happening. And then out of nowhere comes Revolution #9, comes Bungalow Bill, comes all that stuff. You'd be shocked, you wouldn't understand. And I personally think that's what happened with Tranquility. and there are still some amazing tunes on there. The title track is brilliant. 4 stars out of 5 is one of the best singles they've put out, and I know people hate me for saying that, but it is a really great single. The Ultra Cheese, the world's first monster truck front flip, I believe it is, which is one of the best song names they've ever come up with, and the Bat Phone, like, what people don't get, and I don't want to be like, oh, you don't get it, but it's a concept album. It's much the same as I think Whatever People Say I Am, That's What I'm Not is. It's a concept album for a different time, and you've got to view it like that. And that's, once you do that and don't think they're going to be doing the same with the old, that's when you'll realise and appreciate it more. Next up on the list would be AM. I think it was definitely a return to roots for them, while still trying to breach into America with Do I Want to Know, and the tracks that were definitely trying to be a bit different. It was much more what I wanted to hear as an Arctic Monkeys fan. It had better tunes, Are You Mine, Why'd You Always Call Me When You're High, Do I Want to Know, as I've said before, like, and it was incredible, but it also had things like Number One Party Anthem, which really was showing where they wanted to go. Pardonnez-moi. It showed that direction that they were heading for, which I don't understand how people miss, to be honest. And also, to add to that, Knee Socks might be one of my favourite AM tracks ever recorded, and it's on that album. And so the last two, I've diced about these a lot. If you would have to ask me this a year ago, I would have said Favourite Worst Nightmare, because that was the first album I ever bought, and I think it's incredible. And I've thought that for a long time. But also then you have Whatever People Say I Am, That's What I'm Not, with the Tales of Sheffield and all the Nights Out, all the great tunes, Mardy Bum, Red Lights Indicate Doors Are Secure, The View from the Afternoon, From the Ritz to the Rubble. How do you rank these guys? It's a tough one. If I had to pick one for myself, and if I was just going to listen to one album, I think I would still go with Favourite Worst Nightmare, but with Whatever People Say literally knocking down that door. Both are sensational, both are when they're at their peak, but for me the difference is Whatever People Say is them writing about their times in Sheffield, their nights out, Riot Van, as I said, Red Lights, all that is them on their nights out. And then Favourite Worst Nightmare is just similar, but with a bit more musical knowledge. Tracks like Balaclava, D is for Dangerous, Only Ones Who Know, and 505, which is one of the best stadium tracks of all time. Like, I've never been lucky enough to be in the audience when they've performed 505, but I've seen the clips, and that's just something you don't, like, other bands don't do, only AM do. If you do that once in a lifetime. And so I think I would have to say Favourite Worst Nightmare top, and then Whatever People Say, but those albums are both so sensational they could swap. I think that'll be it for my discussion of AM. A big shout out goes to Stop the World, Because I Want to Get Off, and it's escaping me, but the track they did with Dizzee Rascal, which I'm actually going to even link in the description because it's so good. AM did such great stuff off the album as well. Diamonds Are Forever, one of the best covers in my opinion, and it's not just because I love the original track, but they are a sensational album and everything they've touched is good. So I would like to reiterate that all these albums are at least A tier, but a quick rundown would be Humbug, Suck It and See, Tranquility Base, AM, Whatever People Say, and then on to Favourite Worst Nightmare, but I love them all. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for me. Have a wonderful night, sleep tight, and sweet dreams.